Alaska has more coastline than the other 49 states combined, although you probably won't be swimming anytime soon. Alaska is so big that you can fit 22 of our smaller states inside of it. It's home to a diverse indigenous population with 11 distinct cultural groups in the state, each with its own traditions, languages, and art forms. It is America's 49th state, which it boasts on its welcome signs, just to make sure Hawaii knows its place at 50. It's no mystery why Alaska is called the last frontier, since the vast majority of the state is uninhabited and unexplored. Civilization only encroaches on 1/20th of 1% of the entire state. Needless to say, a trip to Alaska is a unique adventure. So whether you are traveling to Alaska for the first time, or if you live in Alaska but haven't seen much of the state, this list is for you. Check out these top 10 Alaskan places. Stay tuned to the end to hear some truly unique and hard to get to places in Alaska that are worth checking out. Number 1 on this list is Juneau. Juneau is the only state capital that can only be reached by boat or plane. Most people who do an Alaskan cruise will stop in Juneau. And while that is an easy way to get there, you can still book flights from anywhere else in the US. You can also drive if you book your car on a ferry. Now, let's be real. Most of this list will include outdoor adventures, and there is plenty of that to do in Juneau. So let's look at what makes Juneau unique. It's the state capital, so you know you can find a lot of history here. Start your journey at the Alaska State Museum. Its exhibits span from indigenous artifacts through the Russian colonial period when Alaska was known as Russian Alaska. The Treadwell ruins are the ruins of an old gold mine, and the Last Chance Mining Museum complements the ruins by giving a history of mining in Alaska. The Shrine of St. Therese is a structure built from the land's own beach stone, and the Sealaska Heritage Museum features indigenous art. There are also some outdoorsy things that are unique to Juneau, like the upside-down forest of Glacier Gardens. Located in the Tongass National Forest, this is exactly what it sounds like. Trees whose tops are planted underground and the roots grow up. Be sure to check out the Mendenhall Ice Caves, which are some of the most beautiful caves you'll ever see while experiencing every stage of the water cycle all at once. Stay up late because Juneau has a vibrant nightlife with waterfront bars and restaurants. It's a state capital that you won't want to miss. Number 2 should come as absolutely no surprise. Denali National Park is hands down a must-see in Alaska. Spanning across over 6 million acres of wild land, it is home to North America's tallest mountain, Denali, standing at an awe-inspiring 20,310 feet. Despite its height, it is often shrouded in clouds, and only 30% of all visitors to Denali National Park actually get to see its peak, so make sure that you are in that 30%. The park is more than just a mountain. Look for the Denali Big Five, which are moose, caribou, Dall sheep, wolves, and grizzly bears. You can drive through the winding road that traverses the park, or book a helicopter or small airplane ride to see the vast wilderness from above. If you want something cute to see at the park, then meet the Canine Rangers. Denali is the only national park with a kennel of sled dogs. Every day during the summer, park rangers offer demonstrations. It's a great opportunity to meet the animals that have had a huge impact on Alaska's history. Book a cabin at one of the many lodges within the park, pull your RV into one of the parks, or pitch a tent to fully enjoy. Number 3 is Anchorage. This is a bonus because Anchorage is really a springboard for many other places in Alaska. Anchorage is Alaska's largest city and has plenty to do in its own right, but it is also a great place to make your base camp while you visit other parts of southern Alaska. Start your trip with the hop-on, hop-off trolley around the city. Anchorage is full of galleries, shops, and concert venues. The difference is that nightlife during the summer will feel like day life since the sun doesn't set until nearly midnight. Its art galleries are filled with both indigenous art as well as art by local artists. Take the city's food and history tour, where many of the restaurants feature local and wild game. If you'd rather see wild game than eat wild game, head about an hour south of the city to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, where you can see bears, moose, a three-legged porcupine named Kit, a variety of birds, and even a glacier. Once you get your urban bearings, paddle down the nearby crystal clear lakes and rivers, hike mountainous trails, and even hike on a glacier. Lastly, hop on the iconic Alaska Railroad, which offers same-day, round-trip excursions from Anchorage to Seward. The trip offers views unparalleled to any other train ride. Number 4 is Ketchikan, Alaska. Technically a beach town, but not in the way you would imagine. Situated at the beginning of Alaska's famous Inside Passage, Ketchikan is the gateway to the frontier. Like Juneau, it's a popular stop on Alaskan cruises and can only be accessed by boat or plane. So if you drive, you'll have to take a ferry with your car, thanks to the Alaska Marine Highway System, which connects Ketchikan to the lower 48. The best way to experience the town is to forget your car. It has a quaint downtown with restaurants and shops that is easily walkable. Fishing enthusiasts will love this town, as there are many opportunities to turn your fishing prowess into that night's dinner. Take a float plane for an aerial view over misty fjords. Hike to the top of Deer Mountain, or zip line over salmon streams where you may zip right over a bear. The staple cuisine is salmon, and the town is known as the salmon capital of the world. But local favorites include more than just salmon. Try creamy seafood chowders, cod or halibut that is either smoked, sautéed, broiled, battered, or baked. All seafood is freshly caught from the cold waters of the Pacific Ocean. The local restaurants also feature nightly live music. And if you bring your instrument, they have many opportunities for you to play with the locals at their many open music nights. Number 5 takes us 6 hours north of Anchorage to Fairbanks, the second largest city in the state, and known for its breathtaking views of the Aurora Borealis, or Northern Lights. From August 21st to April 21st, the lights will dance across the sky an average of 4 to 5 nights a week. If you are there in the summer, you won't see the northern lights, but you can experience the midnight sun, as the sun will be up for 21.5 hours. Sit in a natural hot spring at Chena Hot Springs, surrounded by snow, while gazing at the northern lights, followed by a drink at the bar made completely out of ice. Not your drink, but the bar is made of ice. The resort also offers horseback riding, ATV rides, fishing, and other nature-inspired activities. Head back to the city for museums, galleries, restaurants, and shopping. Though you'll miss the northern lights, if you find yourself in Fairbanks in the summer, you will experience the same average temperature as San Diego, California at 72 degrees. Like most of Alaska, Fairbanks is a great springboard for hiking, paddleboarding, and whitewater rafting down the Chena River. Something you cannot miss in Fairbanks is the reindeer walk and tour and running reindeer ranch. It's exactly what it sounds like. Not only can you walk with reindeer, but you can do yoga with the reindeer. Number 6 is for the true adventurer. Visiting gates of the Arctic National Park is like embarking on a journey to the last frontier, even for the last frontier state. This remote and rugged park in Alaska is a true testament to nature's raw beauty. Gates of the Arctic is the northernmost national park in the United States, and one of the least visited parks due to its isolated location. It covers over 8 million acres. But here's the catch: there are no roads or trails within the park boundaries. So how do you get there, you might ask? Well, you'll need to take to the skies. The park is accessible only by small aircraft or by hiking in from surrounding areas. It's a true backcountry experience that requires careful planning, wilderness skills, and a sense of self-sufficiency. But there is no doubt that the effort is well worth it. Once there, you'll be greeted by towering peaks, crystal clear rivers, and vast expanses of untouched tundra. It's a haven for hikers, backpackers, and outdoor enthusiasts willing to disconnect from the stresses of the modern world and enjoy the simple beauty that nature has to offer. It is recommended that visitors be proficient in wilderness skills, have a well-planned out route, and understand the inherent risks of the natural wildlife in the area. Number 7 is Utqiagvik, formerly known as Barrow. It is the northernmost city in the U.S., and the 9th most northern city in the world. It sits on the shores of the Arctic Ocean and is well above the Arctic Circle. Many travelers have probably swam in the Atlantic, Pacific, or Indian Ocean, but very few can say that they stood on the shores of the world's smallest and northernmost ocean. Staring out at the sea, you are a mere 1,291 miles from the North Pole. Getting there isn't cheap, but it is easy. Alaska Airlines offers daily flights to and from Anchorage, and while there are some very cheap fares, you still have to get to Anchorage. The most iconic photo to take in Utqiagvik is under the Barrow Whale Bone Arch. It's exactly what it says it is, an arch made of whale bones, which connects the indigenous people to the ocean, where whaling has been their centuries-old means of survival. Known as the rooftop of the world, the Inupiat Heritage Center is the story of the Inupiat people who are native to the region. They have thrived for thousands of years in one of the most extreme climates on Earth, and as the saying goes, when in Rome, or in this case, when in Barrow, brag to your friends on social media that you did a polar plunge. Strip down into a bathing suit, be sure to pack one, and dunk yourself into the Arctic Ocean. There are a few restaurants to enjoy, but be prepared for steep prices. The grocery store is no better, as a viral photo showed that half a watermelon costs $37, and a bag of tortilla chips will set you back $11. Stroll along the Lagoon Boardwalk for panoramic views of the city and rare wildlife spotting. This far north, be prepared for the polar night and midnight sun, as the city goes 83 days without a sunset during summer and 65 days without sunrise during winter. Number 8 isn't as far into the extremes of Alaska, but heads back down to the Inner Passage. Skagway, home to Gold Rush-era buildings, is now preserved as part of the Klondike Gold Rush National Historical Park. Skagway is another popular stop on Alaskan cruises, but unlike the other 2 towns on this list, Skagway can be reached by road year-round via the South Klondike Highway, which takes you into the Yukon, Canada, and then back down to the lower 48. It is worth the drive as you enter this colorful waterfront town, largely centered on its history as a gold rush town. So, take advantage and go gold panning. There are tours you can book where you can try your hand at striking it rich. Skagway also offers dog sledding on a glacier, which is uniquely Alaskan. Like much of Alaska, an air tour, booked on a helicopter, is a unique way to see how vast our northernmost state expands across the horizon. If you have had your fill of Alaska's nature activities, then spend time in the town. It is small, compact, and walker-friendly, but it is also one of the more rustic and historic towns. It will bring you back to another era as you stroll down the quaint streets with mountain backdrops and colorful buildings. Number 9 is Kenai Fjords National Park, located on the Kenai Peninsula, 130 miles south of Anchorage. And once again, this park is centered on Alaska's natural beauty. One of the park's main attractions is its glaciers, including the massive Harding ice field, which covers over 700 square miles. The ice has been sculpting the land for thousands of years, creating deep fjords and rugged coastlines that are breathtaking and will make you take a pause. To explore the park, hop aboard a boat tour and sail through the icy waters, seeing the glaciers and listening to the thunderous sound as chunks of ice break away and plunge into the water. Alongside the natural terrain are species of wildlife, including orcas, humpback whales, sea otters, puffins, and seals. Fishing, bird watching, and camping are also popular things to do in the park. For something more structured, attend ranger-led programs and guided walks to learn more about the park's geology, wildlife, and cultural history. Park rangers offer informative talks and activities that provide a deeper understanding of the park's natural wonders. Number 10 on this list is just too cool and too unique to pass up. North Pole, Alaska may be known for its festive name, but there's more to this charming town than just its Christmas-centered name. First and foremost, the name does play into the town's identity, Pay a visit to the Santa Claus house, the town's iconic attraction, and meet Santa himself. Every year, North Pole gets over 120,000 letters to Santa from over 26 countries. Explore the Christmas-themed shops and send a postcard with a special North Pole postmark no matter what time of year it is. For outdoor enthusiasts, Chena Lake's recreation area has boating, fishing, hiking, and camping amidst the picturesque landscapes. And for anyone needing a break from the endless Christmas lights, North Pole's location also makes it an ideal spot for viewing the northern lights. If you're looking for family-friendly fun, head to the locally loved Santa Claus House Ice Cream Parlor for delicious treats and whimsical decor. Lastly, make sure to embrace the unique North Pole spirit by joining the annual Midnight Sun Festival, celebrating the summer solstice with lively entertainment, local food, and community spirit. North Pole is only 14 miles from Fairbanks, so make this trip a 2-for-1 when you get here. Alaska is the biggest state with 8 national parks, so narrowing it down to just 10 is a challenge. There are a few places that are unique and isolated to the point that a few travelers, even the most adventurous, will get to. One of those is Little Diomede Island. The island is just 2.3 miles from Big Diomede Island, which is part of Russia, so you really can see Russia from your house. With a population of just 82 people, this is one of the most remote parts of Alaska. Umnak Island in the Aleutian Chain is another rarely visited part of Alaska, but would be worth the trek for its geothermal attractions.